Over the years, girl groups have had a hard time in the music industry. Drama, label issues, unfair treatment, and many more factors contributed to the breakup of some of the most popular girl bands. And to be honest, we're still not ready to let them go. Today we're discussing Fifth Harmony, K-pop girl bands, the Pussycat Dolls, the Spice Girls before their return, and many more groups that had it all. Or so it seemed. Ready to spill some tea with us? Let's go! The life of the rich and famous isn't always as it seems. Behind the scenes, many who wish for fortune and fame realize that it attracts all sorts of wrong people. But it's even harder when you're put in a girl group with people you never thought of being together with. That was the case of Fifth Harmony, one of the latest bands that didn't end up working out. Fifth Harmony. Fifth Harmony's breakup is a lot more complicated than it might seem on the surface. Go on Twitter and ask any Fifth Harmony stan what happened, and they'll be ready to send you an essay full of stories. These stories will also change depending on who you ask because no one is 100% sure what actually went on behind the scenes. But fans did get a pretty good idea. It's hard to keep secrets with the popularity of social media, and Fifth Harmony is one of those girl groups that knows this best. Their timeline of controversies is full of unexpected claims and bizarre tweets that went unnoticed by the general public. But if you're in the fandom, you know what's up. As you might know, Camila Cabello was often labeled as the group's frontman, or should we say front woman. She was front and center, had the most lines, the most solos, and the most fans. After the release of Fifth Harmony's first album, fans immediately started to notice the label treating others unfairly. According to Genius.com, the first album, called Reflection, saw Camila as the front and center with 51.6% of all verses. The 727 album saw somewhat of a shift between solo distributions of the last four, but Camila was still in the lead. By then, fans started to notice that something was off with Fifth Harmony. It became clear the girls weren't happy with the lack of creative direction and label support, as well as the behind-the-scenes issues. Along with many other undisclosed information, it was clear that this was one of the biggest reasons why things went south after the release of the 727 album. Back in 2015, the fandom grew suspicious after Camila's first public statement that their band is manufactured. She added that this makes it that much harder to stay together and be on the same page 24/7, which of course is true. But even back then, Camila said that they're not happy with the album tracks, distribution, and music video treatment. Fans got freaked and 5H had to calm down the breakup rumors. Just a few months later, Camila released her first solo project and rocked the fandom boat once again. She was the first Fifth Harmony member to do so. I Know What You Did Last Summer took off. A month later, Fifth Harmony shared a picture of a recording session with the band without Camila. If you were a Fifth Harmony stan, you know that the era after Reflection and during 727 was incredibly painful. By 2016, the girls were clear that they've had different visions when it comes to their careers, which gives a hint that they weren't really happy with the label direction, solo distribution, songwriting, and basically just the whole thing. During that time, several photos were posted with the band minus Camila, who seemed to be MIA a lot of the times. The girls attended a Britney Spears concert, and Camila shared a picture with Diplo just a few days later. And then there was the record with Machine Gun Kelly, which was a huge hit. It all hinted that Camila's creative vision just didn't work out with the band, and she was given a green light to produce solo songs by the label. Speaking of the label, Epic Records is a frequent subject of discussion when one talks about Fifth Harmony. Fans will always remember Lauren warning them how they should always read their contracts before signing anything, indicating that the label wasn't treating them right. A leaked audio clip of Lauren saying they're doing a lot of hard work for nothing can still be listened to. The fans often highlight Epic's mistreatment of the girls. Just a few months after Camila's collab with Machine Gun Kelly, the band announced Camila's departure, which broke a lot of people's hearts. There was a lot of back and forth regarding whether Camila was let go, as she stated in her letter, or told she was going to leave via her representatives, as stated by Fifth Harmony. Camila also addressed the fact that she discussed her departure with the girls previously. A few years later, Simon Cowell confirmed that Camila came forward and said she was ready to leave. Simon said they were fully ready to back her up on that, which resolves the confusion over what happened. After Camila's departure, the group was able to stabilize their solo distribution. However, they admitted that they were worried about the group's existence after Camila left. This indicated that Epic had no plans of keeping them around and was just ready to bank on their biggest star. They hired a lawyer to rearrange the contracts, and the lawyer said that they had some of the worst music industry contracts she had ever seen. As of 2019, all Fifth Harmony girls enjoy their solo careers, none under Epic Records apart from Camila Cabello. While on hiatus, the members of the group revealed how they really felt about Fifth Harmony. In Camila's case, she felt like she was pressured to act certain ways that felt way too mature. Lauren felt completely uninspired after not being able to participate in writing sessions, and so on and so on. It seems that in Fifth Harmony's case, a lot of issues came back from a lack of communication and mistreatment from the label. Alongside, social media definitely contributed to the turmoil in the fandom due to the drama over leaked messages, members' secret accounts, and more. Another group that's had issues with the label as well as communication within is the original Danity Kane. Danity Kane. 90s babies will remember this one. Danity Kane was meant to be one of the biggest girl groups of the century. The hype was real, especially since they came from P. Diddy's series Making the Band, and it took 2 seasons to actually find the perfect girls. Millions tuned in that night to watch the lives of 5 girls being changed forever. It seemed that Aubrey O'Day, Dawn Richard, Andrea Fimbers, Dee Woods, and Shannon Bex hit the superstardom lottery. These girls really had it all: the voices, the passion, and the dance skills. They were trained by some of the biggest talents in the industry. But their passion couldn't prepare them for their rollercoaster journey. Some of their biggest charting hits are Showstopper and the incredibly catchy tune called Damaged. Both of their albums reached #1 spot on the charts. They were destined to be international singing sensations, and they appeared to be the picture-perfect band. Well, that was until Diddy fired Aubrey O'Day and Dee Woods on the spot in Making the Band 4. It all started falling apart after that. The only member that seemed to have continued working with Diddy was Dawn Richard, who at the time joined Diddy's Dirty Money. It was clear that Diddy favored Dawn and wanted to continue her music career without the girls. Solo distribution was also an issue in the early days, and some of the girls got upset over the lacking of being featured on certain songs. Sounds familiar, right? Danity Kane's Making the Band episodes captured some of the many struggles the group has faced. This also includes putting their foot down after receiving mediocre songs and not having enough creative input. After a while, it was clear that things weren't working out. So what actually happened? It was clear that the band had different visions when Aubrey O'Day started working on solo projects while still in the group. She already got separate modeling gigs, and she was still in the Making the Band competition. But in Danity Kane, she got a chance to work on a Broadway musical, Hairspray, which made fans question her commitment to the band. Alongside, things seemed fishy when Dee Woods landed her own limited edition cover on King magazine, while also being on the Danity Kane cover. Yep, they came out at the same time. Now that's messy, isn't it? As time went on, Aubrey became a lot more outspoken and had many verbal fights with Diddy. You could actually watch many of those on screen yourself. Diddy was convinced Aubrey was changing her image into something he didn't want her to be when he brought her in the band. In an interview with Hot 97 in 2017, Dawn revealed that the girls all wanted different things. One of the members, Shannon, actually wanted to be a country singer. And remember how Lauren from Fifth Harmony said they work really hard and get nothing for it in that leaked audio? Well, Dawn said that Danity Kane was in huge amounts of debt after they disbanded and left with hardly anything. But Diddy bought Dawn out of the contract even prior to the show, at least according to Dawn. So it seemed that Dawn was just patiently waiting for Diddy's okay to leave Danity Kane, which is very similar to how Epic Records treated Camila. Back when Danity Kane tried to reunite in 2014, Dawn punched Aubrey in the back of the head during a meeting in the studio. According to Dawn's interview with Hot 97, this was her way of checking her bandmate. She'd referred to Aubrey as sister and said she was getting out of line. It was never revealed what that out of line was, but according to Dawn, things weren't running as they should have been. Aubrey didn't really think it was exactly a sisterly altercation and had a lot to say about Dawn's behavior. In an interview with The Breakfast Club, Aubrey O'Day shared her side of the story, stating that the Danity Kane drama was there since the beginning. According to Aubrey, one of the Danity Kane message boards started spreading pretty bad rumors about Aubrey and Dee Woods. Aubrey recalled the time when they were all in the studio with Diddy on their social media and message boards to promote the album. Aubrey used Dawn's laptop to post a message on her fan page. She was then told by the leader of the fan page and message boards that the IP address she used was the same IP address that spread nasty rumors on message boards. So according to Aubrey, this means that Dawn started those rumors. The group tried coming together several times after the first breakup. There were heated reunions, and it seemed that everyone was just attacking each other from all sides. As of 2019, they all seemed to be in a better place, with Dawn, Aubrey, and Shannon reuniting and performing as Danity Kane. You can definitely draw some similarities between what happened to Fifth Harmony and Danity Kane. It just seemed that the altercations, favoritism, miscommunication, limited commitment, and minimal label support all contributed to the fall of the original Danity Kane. Speaking of baggage, you're in for a roller coaster ride because we're about to spill some tea on one of the most popular girl groups of their generation and beyond. The Spice Girls. Everyone remembers the date, May 26, 1998, aka the day the band started collectively worrying about the future of the Spice Girls. Scary, Baby, Posh, and Sporty Spice almost wrapped up their European tour when they received the news that Ginger Spice quit the band. The Spice Girls were absolutely huge around the world. Everyone knew their name and was on board the girl power generation. Bops after bops, the girls made a name for themselves in the UK as well as internationally. They seemed happy together and had distinctive and somewhat stereotypical personalities, but sometimes have to act out in front of the audience. So when Geri Halliwell told them she was done with the group a couple of months before the end of the tour, but they were even more shocked when she practically disappeared just a few weeks before it ended, and she did it on her best friend Mel B's birthday. The girls had a show to put on, and they desperately tried to find Geri in their hotel. They couldn't. Geri was gone and over with the band. Much like it was the case for Camila Cabello and Fifth Harmony, Geri quit the band to later pursue a solo career. But that wasn't the main driver behind her decision. Over the years, Geri revealed that she had battled several demons, and her eating disorders at the time took over her life. The Spice Girls had a crazy working schedule to maintain, and it was clear that Geri's eating disorders returned at full force because of it. During the time she first talked to the girls about leaving, and actually leaving, Geri lost most of her spunky Ginger Spice personality. She addressed that in her autobiography, Just for the Record, saying that underneath Ginger was a real girl and she was being suffocated. It isn't the first time a singer just couldn't cope with the constant touring pressure, but it is true that the Spice Girls have had a lot to work with. World tour after world tour, show after show, traveling for endless amounts of hours, all while performing, takes a toll on your mental health, and in this group's case, the intense schedule was the main driver for Geri Halliwell's departure. But there's something else that sped up Geri's decision to leave the band. Around the time, Geri had a cancer scare, and although she had negative results, she wanted to raise awareness and warn young girls to check their bodies for any possible signs. Unfortunately, the rest of the Spice Girls thought this would make more sense to do after the world tour, when Geri told them she would be leaving. It's what allegedly made her decide that she needs to leave sooner than planned. Despite the fact that the girls begged her to return, she didn't. She later revealed that this wasn't the main reason why she wanted to leave the band. And as we all know, when one member leaves the band, it's very hard to keep it all together for a very long time. The rest of the Spice Girls decided it was too soon to tell the world Geri had left, so they just told the media that she's sick. Here's where Geri quitting gets interesting because it links to the communication issues both Fifth Harmony and Danity Kane had in their groups. According to Geri, she prepared the girls for her leaving, but according to Posh Spice, the girls didn't know. She said in her book that Geri pretty much left them in the lurch, but said she prepared the girls for the inevitable to make herself look better. This story changes depending on who you ask and where you look, which definitely means something went down behind the scenes. Since the Spice Girls had a show the very next day after Geri's departure, it put them in a stressful situation. They had to re-choreograph their routines, figure out their positions, and sort out new vocals. They were fine on the surface, but they just couldn't understand why this happened. Although Victoria did get to finally sing on Wannabe during that time, so props to her. An official announcement was made on May 31st that same year. In a statement, Geri apologized to the fans, but added that she'll be back, which indicated a start of her solo career. After the world tour and Geri quitting, the girls started making their own future. Both Victoria and Mel B became pregnant. This forced them to go on an 8-month break from recording absolutely anything in the studio. After they returned, they released their final album. However, the album failed to break the charts, and in December 2000, they announced they were going on an indefinite hiatus. It was unclear what factors contributed to the reason why the public became disinterested in the Spice Girls after Geri's exit. But what is clear is that just like most of the bands, it's definitely hard to stay together after a prominent member leaves. Of course, the Spice Girls have now returned and they all seem to be on good terms. Well, minus Victoria, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother video. There is a lot more tea to spill on the Spice Girls, but we have to move on because we have a few more groups to get through. The Pussycat Dolls. As we know by now, bands that have a lead but not actually an official lead never really work out that well. But the band that was really mostly known for their lead singer was definitely the Pussycat Dolls. These babes took the world by storm back in 2003 and immediately released several timeless bops. The group consisted of Nicole Scherzinger, Carmen Bachar, Ashley Roberts, Jessica Sutta, Melody Thornton, Kimberly Wyatt, and for some time Kaya Jones. So, what happened with the Pussycat Dolls? Following the release of their album, the Pussycat Dolls were destined to become the next big international singing group. The aim was to turn them into a franchise, but after only a few chart-topping hits, the group decided to go on a hiatus. And by now you know that going on a hiatus really means you're coming back. The group officially split up in 2010, with Carmen leaving 2 years earlier due to allegedly having tension with the lead singer Nicole. A couple of years later, Carmen also revealed that Nicole's ambitions for a solo career were too high and the favoritism from the label was noticeable. This pretty much failed to give the other girls the recognition they needed to secure a successful solo career. Although she's easily recognizable, Nicole's solo career hasn't really had the same hype since the Pussycat Dolls. In 2015, rumors of her getting dropped by her label started to spread. Despite denying them as of February 2019, Nicole hasn't released any new music, but that doesn't mean she's not keeping busy. The talented singer pursued TV and movie opportunities to make sure you still know who she is to this day. And the rest of the Pussycat Dolls? All the girls remain in the music business, but they have a lot to say on their time in the Pussycat Dolls. Jessica stated that she felt like nothing more than a glorified backup dancer after 7 years with the group. She wasn't feeling like she was growing in the situation. Jessica actually left the group after breaking a rib while on tour. Ouch. Melody revealed that she needed therapy for how worthless she felt in the group, with Nicole being the lead. She revealed that it was constantly pointed out that she was the weakest member of the group. Naturally, this destroyed her confidence. In 2012, Ashley revealed that the girls were just really sick of Nicole hogging the limelight. She also said that while in the group, only Nicole was able to talk during the interviews. It was clear that the label's only strategy was to feature Nicole as much as possible, leaving the other girls to either stay behind or leave. In a series of Twitter posts, Kaya revealed that the Pussycat Dolls were taken advantage of by music industry men. Kaya stated that the industry tried to drug them, blacklist them, and do whatever they can to keep these girls from making it to the top. She also spoke about being taken advantage of and controlled by music executives. The claims were dismissed and denied by the founder of the band. The Oldest Trick in the Music Industry book, aka Favoritism, was one of the biggest reasons behind the PCD breakup. It is unclear just how involved the label was into their lives, but by the looks of it, the PCD were promised a different career trade-off. As of February 2019, the Dolls are still in a low-key limelight, with reunion rumors still going strong but unconfirmed. But can they come back and find peace over the past resentment they've had of Nicole? We'll have to wait and see. Girls Aloud. If you're not familiar with Girls Aloud, this tea will send you on a true roller coaster. Girls Aloud were one of the most popular UK girl bands. The group consisted of Cheryl Cole, Sarah Harding, Nadine Coyle, Kimberly Walsh, and Nicola Roberts. The girls started off on a talent show called Popstars The Rivals in 2002 and were eventually chosen to form a group. Girls Aloud released bops after bops, many of which are still fondly remembered. Jump, Love Machine, Sound of the Underground, and many more are some of the most beloved Girls Aloud songs. You can still hear their songs in the UK clubs, and you just can't help but dance to the music. They really did seem like they had it all, but we know by now that this never ends well. The band reigned from 2002 to 2009 before heading on a hiatus, which was interrupted in 2012. After failing to come back strong and re-enter the charts with the same numbers, the girls called it quits. In 2013, they addressed their split in a tweet. They thanked their fans for their support and briefly ended the message saying it was time to end the group. The split gets more dramatic because the story changes depending on who you ask about it. This proves that communication might have been a huge issue for the girls, but it also sounds quite familiar to some of the other breakup stories we've already heard. Behind a picture-perfect band stood a lot of drama. Let's begin with Nadine Coyle, who, according to herself, didn't even know the band was splitting up. She was the only one in the group that appeared to be desperate for them to stay together. She was also the one that got the most lines in the group, which seemed to have caused tension. Allegedly, Nadine was informed just minutes before they were meant to perform their last tour gig. How crazy is that? She refused to sign the separation contract and still hasn't signed one to this day. Girls Aloud also saw drama among the band members. A prominent feud seemed to have occurred between Cheryl Cole and Sarah Harding. The two lived very different lives. One was a party girl and the other wasn't. Sarah Harding also suffered from addiction to illegal substances, and in her autobiography, Cheryl mentions she chose to distance herself due to a family member with a similar battle. But it doesn't stop there. The girls threw a lot of shade at each other over the years, even after the band broke up. When Cheryl became a judge on UK's X Factor, Sarah publicly stated that she has no idea what it is, which of course wasn't true. In 2015, Sarah angrily tweeted that she wasn't invited to Nicole's birthday. She added that relations between them were good until she didn't get an invite. A few days later, Cheryl responded to Sarah in that rant. She posted a throwback photo on Instagram with a caption saying, "You're keeping control of the knife." Nadine later claimed that none of the Girls Aloud members were actually friends. She said they never had a falling out because they were never friends to begin with. This was later questioned by Kimberly, who found it hard to believe considering the girls went out every single week. She also revealed that they generally never knew what was going on because their manager, Lewis Walsh, disappeared at the time. The girls were basically performing without any guidance. Nicole later alleged that Lewis never really liked them. And although they came close to reuniting many times, it seems that it might never happen in the same formation as before. But the girl group drama isn't just prominent in the western side of the world. 2NE1. Alright guys, let's do this. 2NE1 are known as the absolute queens of K-pop. They were formed in 2009 and quickly took over the industry with their single Fire. However, the group was first mentioned in the press way back in 2004. As you know, K-pop bands undergo serious training before they even come out with a debut. The group went from having an edgier to a softer image very quickly after YG Entertainment noticed a bigger interest in the latter. They were praised for embracing Western pop culture, combined with the unique style of Korean art. The girls worked hard, releasing single after single to show YG they deserved a chance in the music industry. They quickly won over a curious fandom who called themselves Blackjacks. The fandom name comes from the fact that in Blackjack the game, the players aim to get 21 points. It's also reportedly a nod to the playing cards featured in the Fire music video. Overall, the group has 23 singles, 3 EPs, 4 studio albums, 3 live albums, and 4 video albums. Now that's quite a lot for the 5 years they've been together, right? Well, that's how it works in the world of K-pop, but it definitely paid off for 2NE1. The group really made themselves known as the K-pop band and grew an international fandom. But we're here to spill the tea, so let's get to the drama. In 2014, Park Bom was accused of smuggling 82 capsules of illegal substances from the United States into South Korea. It's when things started falling apart, and the story is actually quite complicated. The news became international, so UG Entertainment had to release a statement. In it, they explained that Park Bom used to live in the US, where she witnessed a tragic loss of life. She became depressed and traumatized and had to take prescribed medication. All charges were eventually dropped, but the story sent media in a frenzy. And the K-pop industry really doesn't like controversies. Park's contract was suspended, which sent the group into an immediate hiatus. The girls all started their solo ventures, which included singing, acting, and even opening a dance academy. They only reunited in 2015 for a surprise performance at Asian Music Awards. They continued to win awards after the band's departure from the K-pop scene, proving just how iconic they were. There were some initial reports that the band would continue as a trio, but these quickly fell apart. The last single, released in 2017, was conveniently titled Goodbye. Many have highlighted that Park Bom's mental health became so unstable after the smuggling backlash, there is no point in continuing the group. Her severe condition allegedly made YG think that the other members just weren't strong enough to continue on their own. Over the years, more and more drama was revealed surrounding the band, hinting that maybe Park wasn't the sole reason of the band's breakup. One of the members, Sandara, revealed that she was the only member of 2NE1 that followed the industry's dating ban. In case you're not familiar, K-pop artists under YG Entertainment are forbidden to date. 2NE1 actually had a 5-year dating ban, which was then shortened to 3 years at the request of the group. CL was the only member that managed to seriously pursue her music career, but even her dreams of being an international star are limited. Although Scooter Braun became her manager in 2014, CL's yet to rise up from her struggle of making it. In December 2017, CL rebelled from the way she was treated by the industry. She released a short video on Instagram featuring her unheard song, All In. The video showed raunchy and edgy moves, and CL acknowledged it could get her in trouble. It was later revealed that the actual video was meant to come out in 2016, but it never did. CL then favorited comments that called out YG and Scooter Braun for not allowing her to release any songs. Previously, CL also claimed that while she was into anyone, her label tried to force her to undertake plastic surgery. She also called out the label for calling the band ugly when they were rehearsing without makeup. Many have stated that the 2NE1 breakup was a real low blow for the K-pop scene, but YG Entertainment quickly looked for new talent, and Blackpink were a perfect fit. But fans are already tweeting that YG aren't treating Blackpink the way they should, and reportedly, the label is already launching a survival program to debut a brand new girl group. Does this mean that Blackpink days are already limited? The group is already suffering from a lack of releases. An online video actually showed YG Entertainment's building where fans could hear Blackpink's Forever Young album years before it actually got released. Although the group is doing well on the charts, you just never know what kind of controversy they might get themselves into. Will Blackpink have the same ending as 2NE1? Or will they be able to come out of this industry stronger? Many have also discussed the clear double standards K-pop girl bands face in the industry. It was revealed that talent is optional when you enter a K-pop training camp. Instead, it's all about beauty. Everything else can be touched up and trained, whether the easy way or the hard way. And those that want it will do anything to make that happen until they realize that the fate of their careers will forever lie in the hands of the industry. On top of having high standards for female K-pop artists, the industry also enters them into long contracts. After a while, the lifestyle simply becomes impossible to maintain, but getting out of it is definitely not easy. Conclusion. There seems to be quite a few connections throughout the breakup stories of the groups we talked about today. Manufactured bands, aka bands that came together from various talent shows, often struggle with communication. It's very hard to work with someone you don't like, and it's even worse to portray a picture-perfect friendship. While drama brings more publicity to the band, it doesn't really save their creativity. On the other hand, many up-and-coming artists sign contracts without fully reading what they're getting themselves into. After some time, it is clear that the pop star life can only be enjoyable for so long, especially when it doesn't encourage creativity. Girl bands with lead singers also often seem to struggle, especially when this is combined with manufactured bands. Egos hurt the dynamics, making it difficult for other members to feel inspired and motivated. And then there's the overall mistreatment from the labels. It is not clear why labels don't release artists' music, but it is clear that it happens just about everywhere. In some cases, this alone can delay the process to stardom, and the band misses that one chance of making it big. In other cases, it is clear that having zero creative input eventually hurts the artist. In some cases, it even completely changes their image just to make them fit into a certain mold. In the age of social media, it is also extremely hard to keep any types of drama under wraps. So while members of the band might not be able to legally say what is going on, they can do so with a simple tweet, and those often spark a lot of drama among girl groups. Alongside, social media hacks can make group relationships even more complicated, especially if it's revealed that members might have been insincere to one another. Secret social media accounts, rude messages, and more have all been talked about in certain fandoms. It also appears that the public demand for girl bands seem to have dried up. Although once in a while, a band might come in and spark enough interest, it's all about having the right timing. And unless you're a K-pop band and follow the exact curated pathway to stardom, that timing is difficult to achieve. So what does this mean for bands that are still together? Big and popular girl bands like Little Mix are already facing some of the similar controversies. While the girls have excellent communication and appear to be friends, they have had many issues with their label. This is essentially hurting their chances of having that American breakthrough everyone's been waiting on. Time will tell whether the girls will be able to survive the current girl band shelf life. Well, we all know that girl group standards are set high. Far too high than they are for boy bands. While many groups do debut through talent shows like America's Got Talent, very few actually reach the pop star status. And if they do, it's very hard to maintain, as we've seen from the stories of these ex-girl groups. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that fans will probably never know about. But what we do know is that it's not all as easy as it sounds. Even if girl groups eventually do come back together, it's usually never the same as it was in the past. And maybe that's a good thing, considering everything we've learned about these girl groups so far. We'll probably still be learning about the truth behind some girl group breakups in many years to come. And honestly, we're always looking forward to the tea that comes. whether it's through Twitter, interviews, tell-all books, or anything else. While it is not clear whether the girl group music era is on the official hold, there just seems to be a lack of support from the industry and the fans. But there is a lesson we can learn from this, and that is not to stan girl bands or get emotionally invested, because when it's over, it's not pretty. What do you think? Do you think girl groups are a thing of the past? Come share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know if you have some more hot tea on any groups we talked about today. Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe to The Taco for more videos like this one.